All right, cool. So we're supposed to talk about focus on defining ethics as a group and exploring how it shapes leadership and wait and how ethical behavior is reflected in public leadership. Good Lord, I can't read. So does anybody want to start?
Yeah,
Well,
I'll start today.
Okay.
Why not?
go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So I think the obvious definition of ethics, which is mentioned in the book, is that ethics is behavior that is either right or wrong. But in my opinion, I think that is very subjective and it's determined based on your morals as well as standards set by society and then, law enforcement. So I think being ethical just means doing what is right by your own standards, which is why I think that the virtue ethics makes a good point that there really shouldn't be one universal rule or principle that like applies to all situations, because that just seems highly unlikely. You can't have one rule for that applies for everything. It doesn't seem very realistic to me. So I think virtue ethics basically highlights the person making the choice and bases whether or not they're going to make the ethical decision on their character. So, if you have high moral character, you're more likely to make the ethical choice. And I think that just again kind of goes back into your morals and what you believe. And that's how I view ethics.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. In my opinion, ethics is a way of living. Same as one person can choose to lead a healthy lifestyle, a leader can decide whether or not to become ethical and moral. Ethics is different for everyone. As you said, while one believes in virtue ethics, others might adopt utilitarian approach. Despite the ethical perspective one adapts, ethics remains to be some kind of constraint and limitation from wrong actions. Definitely, leadership is shaped by ethics in ways that ethical leaders need to respect and value their followers, be honest and open minded. I also believe that ethical leaders try to ensure the success of everyone in a group rather than aiming on achieving personal goal or success. However, being a truly honest and truly ethical leader is extremely hard because some decisions require you to take such actions that go against some personal preferences or principles. When it comes to public leadership and ethics, leaders who represent a certain group of people or followers need to not only have effective leadership skills, but also have a strong ethical position. For instance, a leader who believes in a climate change should not justify and support people who do not recycle or contribute to fossil fuels emissions. Well, I know a lot of people who differ in their public image or opinion and their real life actions. So I think that followers always need to consider how leaders define their ethical perspective before deciding to follow them, while leaders should show the right examples, ethical examples, to their audience. That's all. That's what I believe is ethics.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I said, and kind of you both have said it. Just I feel like ethics is built off of morals, like 100%. It comes down to morals and especially when like everyone has their own personal morals. When it comes to leading a group or public leadership, you have to kind of put those aside and start taking everyone else's morals and making better judgment based off that. Looking at an example right now, you can tell from state by state the best course of action when it comes to like a mask mandate and stuff like that. You'll see governors really struggling with what they want to do because there are people who are like, no, I don't want to wear a mask. And there's people who are like, please, I need to wear a mask. Like there's people around me. So at the end of the day, it comes down to the moral judgment and deciding like which course of action is best. Like it says in the book, you always have to make the right decision. And just being an ethical leader, like you have to put a lot of personal stuff aside, regardless of the situation. Like even your beliefs, it's going to come down to like cultural ethics. There's going to be people in groups and in public leadership that have a different style culture, culture ethics, I should say, and culture morals. So where you're gonna run into issues, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be the best one for just everybody and not just that one person. Yes, moral sensitivity, recognizing the things like like one person may be super Christian and one person may be an atheist and completely disagree in a certain group, but in some decisions you might have to leave those two things out and make a decision better based on just an example like that, just better, I don't know, to help a group. But I really think ethics is really built on morals. So in reality, I feel like just saying ethics is just based on someone's personal and an entire group's morals. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm just going to say a little bit about more, I think, ethical leadership, just because I kind of just didn't go over that. So I definitely think ethics shape leadership in a variety of ways. Like you guys gave great examples. I specifically, I don't know why I started thinking about the other side of like unethical leaders, just kind of how that opposes ethical leadership, because they just, we see tons of examples of that in so many situations. And they're just leaders that don't care for their employees or the society at large. They'll take advantage of their followers, they'll take advantage of their power, and they'll just use that at their disposal for whatever they want. And I think that ethical leadership is harder than unethical leadership, because I think it's easy to do bad things, even though there might be repercussions. In the end, I think that initially it takes effort to do the right thing. Just like in a business setting, for example, many of the ethical choices are going to cost more money. Like this book referred to the BP oil spill, which I remember when that happened. And it was like, I think that's a great example of unethical leadership, because it was just easier for them to dump all of that oil in the ocean. They don't care about what's going to happen. They're not doing something sustainable that's going to better the environment, probably cost more money or take more effort or anything like that. So I think always as a leader, you have the choice to be ethical or make the ethical decision. And I think it just goes back to what we've all been saying, how it really just reflects your character, and then it will reflect on the respect that your employees have for you. Just, I mean, yeah, the list goes on. So that's my view.
Yeah, that really is it. You see that they're going to have to make the better decision, but also at the same time, it can reflect, you're going to have people who are like, wow, I can't believe you made that decision. And there's going to be people, no, I agree 100%. In the oil spill, like that's the perfect example. I couldn't even thought of that, but yeah, it's awesome, guys. All right, I think we're good. Cool. I'm going to stop it real quick.